Hey everyone, this is Brian Michael Burdett.
And this is Brian Michael Corbin.
We're developers at BM Studios, and in case you're wondering where the BM comes from, we have the same first and middle name.
Yeah, been kind of an inside joke of ours that's probably only funny to us. Everybody else thinks it's pretty annoying.
So we're a small indie game company, and we've been working on this game for 7 or 8 months now, and we're ready to start showing off some of the gameplay.
Yeah, so our game is Heroes of Orn Darkness, and it's a fantasy kingdom simulator is what we're describing it as, which may sound familiar to you if you've ever played the game Majesty back in the 90s. They called it Majesty, the Fantasy Kingdom Sim, and it heavily inspired us to make our game. We wanted to expand on that concept, and that's really where the core mechanics of our game kind of stem from. It's kind of an automated system where the heroes are AI controlled, and you do kind of a higher level management to influence them indirectly. Sort of like a Sim City meets medieval warfare.
Alright, so let's go ahead and start the game. So at this point in development, we've got a lot of the core aspects of the game working, but we've also got a lot of big features that we have planned that are going to make the game just more exciting. Things like player-controlled spells, a crafting system, dungeons, and a few different in-depth progression systems. For this video, we're going to be focusing on the core aspects of gameplay, though.
Alright, I've placed a few buildings down to get started. You start off with 3 different workers. One's doing a tax collecting job, 2 are doing building jobs, and I've created 2 more worker houses to give us more of an economy start. In fact, one of the things I do like to do right off the bat is build a guard tower to help defend our area off while we're focusing economy a little bit. And I probably should have built that first, but I don't think we'll have too much of an issue given the demo level that we've designed. So the up top here, we've on our UI, we've got food, which is the amount of it's like a population limit. So we start off with a limit of 10, and the starting workers don't take any of that food.
Right. It's also, I should mention that different units cost different amounts. So our workers cost 2 and our heroes cost 5. So you can't actually have 10 units, but it just depends on what you build.
Yeah, and so I've also built a farm, which will increase our capacity by 10. And there is an upgrade, a rank 2, once this is built, and you can see the changes that it will provide. So it increases the health of the building, and it'll increase the gold generated per second. And that gold generated per second is something that the tax collectors will be able to take from the buildings. And so that increases the amount of gold gained indirectly through the collecting of the taxes. But it also increases our food capacity from 10 to 20.
And let's go over the job system actually. So as Brian's kind of briefly talked about, we have different worker types, and right now there are 4 worker types. There are builders, miners, herbalists, and tax collectors.
We're going to switch this one's type from a tax collector to a builder.
So builders' jobs is to basically gather wood, we call lumber, and to build buildings, upgrade buildings, fix buildings, everything building related. They're probably the most important worker type. The tax collectors will go around taxing buildings. All buildings generate some amount of gold and can gain gold through other means also. And so your tax collectors will collect that gold and then bring it back, and your kingdom will gain it to its stash. There's also the miner and the herbalist, which they collect ore and herbs, respectively. But those are going to be heavily tied into the crafting system, which isn't currently implemented, so we don't have a whole lot of need of creating workers of that type on this level.
So with each job that the worker has, as you saw, I switched to the one, they can have levels in multiple jobs, and while they only gain, there's a synergistic feel to that. So higher level you are at tax collecting increases the movement speed of your worker. And herbalism and mining provide benefits, as well as like builder increases the proficiency with all skills, and that'll carry over from job to job, so that it's a trade-off later on. You might have a higher level builder, and if you switch him to a tax collector, you've sacrificed your best builder, but long term you'll have a more efficient tax collector. So on the right here, the right side of our UI, we've got a dynamically changing menu, which is kind of it really gives you a quick view of your units, buildings, heroes, workers. We don't have any heroes yet. Each one of these menus can be collapsed, and as you get more population later in the game, I probably won't be as interested in my buildings, but might want to have more focus on heroes. By collapsing the buildings, I'll be able to see more heroes, and I can even minimize workers too, so it only shows heroes, and it will give me all the space that is available just for heroes. And speaking of which,
let's make some
let's
heroes.
make some heroes.
So heroes are your most important unit. They're going to fight enemies and go off explore and do quests that you set for them. And as Brian has talked about a bit, you do not directly control your units in this game, but rather you can take certain actions which will influence them. And quests are a big part of that, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But one of the interesting things we wanted to do with this game was create a class system that had some depth to it. So our class system is actually inspired a decent amount by Ogre Battle, if anyone's played it, for the Super Nintendo or Nintendo 64. And I think it might have been on the PlayStation also. But anyway, there's 3 starting classes, and each one of those classes can branch off into different classes, and so on and so forth. And there ends up being 4 different tiers of classes and 66 total different classes. And as they class up, their appearance will change. They're going to gain increases to their stats, and they're going to gain new abilities. And these new abilities they gain will cross over to all future classes that they class up into. So our 3 starting classes are the Fighter, the Scoundrel, and the Scholar. And we've actually got one of each here, so that's going to be nice.
So some of the other things I've just built, I built a tavern, which will provide meal buffs. We've got smoked brisket, pickled ham hocks, one of my personal favorites. Frozen whipped milk on a stick.
Oh, that sounds good.
Fried okra. And each of these provides a different buff for a 5-minute duration. We've talked about implementing a talent system later on, which will carry over from level to level that the player can achieve experience in by playing levels, and it might provide benefits to maybe food buff durations or various things that we've got a lot of ideas on paper that we'll have to implement later.
So just like any other decisions, you can't tell your heroes to go buy a buff. They each have their own inventory of gold. As we see, this hero doesn't have any gold. And when they do have gold, they can choose to go spend it in various ways. Now, right now, their only options are going to be these food buffs, and they can only have one food buff at a time. But later on, there will be other items they can purchase, which will increase their power. And they decide what items they buy, but you get to control basically what becomes available to them by what buildings you build and what items you craft.
Alright, so I'm going to assign a quest on this enemy base here, this big, bad, mean building.
Ooh.
We've got quests, we've got a couple different types. Now, because I'm on this enemy building, it's automatically selected the bounty type, but if I right-click to deselect that, I can see that we have Escort, Defend. Those haven't really been fully implemented yet, but Explore quests as well. So right now I'm going to assign a bounty. You can set a preset minimum. I could have a default of 500 and then hit Create Quest, or you can create a quest and then you can add an incremental amount to that afterwards, and the more money you have on there, the more heroes will get interested in that quest. Right now we only have the one hero currently, Miranda Silver here, our level 2 fighter. Working on developing a farm for more capacity, could get building more hero buildings going. Heroes really are the core of your gameplay.
And you have a lot of lumber debt, and we haven't talked about that system yet.
Oh, yeah.
So at the top, we see that our lumber is at 0. You can continue.
That's its first number.
Yeah, you can continue to build buildings even without enough lumber to build them. But the lumber debt shows how much more lumber needs to be, basically how much lumber you'll need to build everything that you currently have in progress, or buildings that are partially destroyed. So you can kind of stretch yourself thin, as we're a little stretched thin now, by continuing to place buildings, and your workers are going to have to go out and gather that wood before they can finish those buildings. So if we take a look at our workers, we can probably see that some of them are out gathering wood now, and then once they collect it, they will go work on the buildings that they're assigned to. But if you had lumber resources in your keep, then they could just go get it from there, which is faster.
Some more of the UI features. We've got we set 4 quick zoom settings so that it moves a lot quicker. I'm moving around with the WASD keys. We've got this nice mini map over here where you can click on the mini map to select a different area, and that has zoom levels to it as well. This first scenario we designed was actually quite large, and so what we've done is kind of condensed some of the enemy bases to be close by so that we could get through this a little quicker for our demo video here. One of the things we really wanted to improve on from our old favorite Majesty there is making the levels feel a little more involved and long term by having a big map and a lot of events and just more having a dungeon system. There'd be more interesting things for you to do while you're playing. Here's our second hero.
Not to cut you off here, but I think we've got this fighter who's going to come class up. So she's going to class up into one of 3 different classes and gain a new ability, higher stats, and let's see what she turns into.
All right. My favorite, the Brawler. Let's see what we get.
The combatant. Combatants are pretty cool. So combatants are kind of... they're a little bit of the tankier one, but honestly, they get a whirlwind ability, which is pretty amazing offensively.
You know what? One thing we could add here is show like what abilities they have and if they're on cooldown.
Yeah, that's planned for sure.
Cool. Our tavern's a work in progress. I'm afraid to upgrade our guard tower again, but...
What's going on up here?
Oh, yeah, look at that. That guy's taking on the world. Level 1 scoundrel, fighting some rats. There's a rat base here I'd like to set a quest on to get that.
Yep.
Try to clear out the spawners relatively quickly so you don't get overrun. And one of the other things you can do to help prevent your base from being overrun early on is to upgrade your guard tower. Which I'm a little short on gold. Actually, I made a mistake.
Oh, did you never make a...
I had a tax collector and I switched it to a builder because we were so behind. And
do you have a trading post?
It was... Oh,
you
no,
don't?
I didn't. I thought I did. Oh, darn. So let's build an economy building, a trading post. This works similarly to how they did in Majesty, where the farther away from your keep you place them, the more gold will come in each caravan delivery. And here are our profession buildings. We'd like to implement a weaponsmith system, an armorsmith system. The tavern we already talked about. These aren't really developed yet, the armorsmith and weaponsmith. The farm we talked about, the trading post we just discussed.
Yeah, there are also a lot of other buildings we're going to be adding, not just the armorsmith and weapons.
Yeah, we're really trying to start with the core and build out from that.
Why don't you set a explore quest now?
All right, let's do quests.
So once you're kind of in the situation where there's nothing on the map, there's nothing to kill, you could sit back and let your heroes wander around, but you can also set an explore quest, which will basically entice your heroes to go check out that area, and whoever gets there first will basically claim the reward.
All right, we've got 2 heroes interested on that explore quest. So on our quest tab, we can see enemies. So if you want to quickly, any enemy on the map that's visible, you can quickly select the enemy, add a quest to it. And also you can see any active quests you have. Clicking on that quest, you can see now we have 3 heroes interested in that quest. They've revealed another enemy base, 2 enemy bases, and since she's already in the area, if I was short on gold, then I know she'll probably end up aggroing to those after exploring. If I wanted to hurry things along and get more heroes up here, I could set a high bounty on one of these quests, kind of force the teamwork.
And your new hero is a... So let's talk about what classes we have. We talked about the combatant a little bit. We also have a scoundrel, which is the one fighting the rats right now. Mm-hmm. They're your kind of rogue-like class. And then we have Wade over here, which...
whoops.
Is that another fighter?
Oh, yep.
Oh, okay. I thought we had a scholar, but I guess the workers decided they didn't want to build the buildings in the order I wanted them to.
Right.
That's kind of part of the game, though.
Right. I guess that's a fault of ours for placing 6 buildings down at once. they don't necessarily pick them in the order that you place them. So they are finishing this. We should have a scholar type. We've tried to design the buildings, and some of them need redesigned a little bit, but we've tried to design them so that each class type has their own look for a hero home. And so as they rank up, the building will actually change to somewhat match their style. And like I said, some of these need redone a little bit, but we're new developers here, learning in progress. Especially my modeling hasn't been the best, but
I think the Scholar is becoming one of my favorites.
let's set a quest
Not
to get this
necessarily
destroyed.
the Scholar, but every Scholar type class.
I'm gonna set also to further, that's the last building on the map here. I'm gonna get another quest ready to have them explore. Now that that's destroyed there, I'd like to focus their attention at furthering our exploration.
And we've got a few more enemy bases to take down here, and once we've taken them down, we're gonna have a boss fight. And it's a tank and spank boss, and
Let's
but
beat it up a little bit.
he's very powerful, so that's gonna be fun to watch our heroes struggle with. And yeah, so you can change the game speed, which is nice if you have a lull in gameplay and you want to speed things up. And then of course you slow it back down if you need to start making strategic decisions, or just if you want to enjoy watching things play out a little slower.
He's gonna run away here.
So our
He's
heroes,
low in health.
they'll run away if it varies a bit from hero to hero when they decide to run away. Some are braver than others.
Sometimes they don't make it in time.
No.
Oh, this one must have ranked up to a scout. They've got the stealth ability. That's that visual effect we've got going on there, which will keep enemies from targeting them. The stealth is reapplied automatically after, 3-5 seconds of non-combat?
Yeah, so basically if they make an attack or they are attacked, they'll lose their stealth, and then they'll regain it. It can be very beneficial for getting past enemy troops if they're trying to explore areas. They're probably the best class at doing explore quests.
This level 1 scoundrel now leveled up
2.
is not doing so well.
Really?
Your evasion is kicking in pretty good.
Yeah?
Not doing so well. They'll beat that level 9 kobold. Barely, and then ran away. So, alright, we need to get more heroes up here. I've got that explore quest. That's one thing we could do, is make these clickable as well.
They are.
But, misclicked or something.
No, it right now it doesn't automatically bring up the quest page.
Oh yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Crank that thing up.
Yeah, let's get this going.
Although we do have some already doing it.
4, now 4, 3. So
They're getting distracted by combat and whatnot.
Yeah. If they're under attack, they're going to abandon their quest to defend themselves. There's our level 1 scholar.
2 scholars. Oh, this is gonna get good.
All right, cool. Alright, now they're here, they're destroying that base. I'd like to get another explore quest going.
Yeah, I think you've got...
I think there's a base over in here somewhere we'd like to...
Yeah, we think, like we didn't make the level. We checked the wiki, and it turns out there's a base up here.
Yeah, and the effort to keep our demo video is shorter and more condensed. Let's create a bounty quest on this, as he was going to ignore it, but as you see, as soon as I placed that quest, he stopped in his tracks and started attacking.
They were probably going after that rat.
Oh. And I think I saw a base down here.
Oh, it's gone now.
Oh.
There is one more down there,
One
though,
over
yeah.
in this area. So let's quest. I'll right-click to deselect my current target. And we'll get an explore quest going in that area. Create quest. We'll place it.
Yeah, that
we
area's
can't-
a little, Try putting one on the window. Okay, that'll work.
Close enough. That'll get him in the area.
So, what characters do we have now? Over on our heroes list, we've got quite a few who are either ranked up or ready to rank up.
Yeah, as they hit level 5, that's what we've predetermined for now to give them the ability to class up.
So we've got a soothsayer.
The soothsayer is kind of the healing type of the intellectual classes.
Very powerful when combined with...
There's the scout we've seen.
Yep.
We've got the scoundrel hasn't ranked up yet.
It looks like he's heading back to rank up right now.
In fact, you can see their current activity is classing up.
Yep. We've got 2 combatants, it looks like.
Yeah, combatant.
And then a
The
scholar who's most likely ranking up as
Yep,
well.
classing up as well. And you can double click these to snap the camera to them.
Why don't we change the speed back down to 1 because things are about to start happening very quickly now.
All right.
We've got an ogre, and did we lose a hero?
Oh, I think we got an archer class, it looks like. Yeah, level 7
Oh,
archer.
archers are great.
Yeah. The range really does give them pretty
So
good power.
they're kind of unique with classes. They're currently the only class whose main ability changes.
We'll be running.
Yeah. So they have a melee attack when they're a scoundrel, and when they rank up to an archer, they gain a ranged attack. They also gain a scatter shot.
All right, so now we've only got the one. We've got the ogre, the final boss. We've got 10,000 gold.
Just throw that gold on him.
Yeah, let's create a big quest here. We can now, like I said, we can change the default, but after we create the quest, then we can just simply add 500 increments or 100 increments, or even 1,000 increments. And we want. We're putting all our eggs in one basket here. Well, let's get, and now by putting such an incredibly high bounty on this enemy, we've inspired all of our heroes to do this quest because they will split the bounty for bounty reward type quests.
And we've got a healer along with a combatant, so this is going to go pretty well for us. 2 healers, wow.
Now we can actually click on the enemies to see their status effects. We do have, I don't think we've got, the brawler has like a stun and it'll show debuffs here.
Yeah.
And we need more sprites and stuff. I mean, it's all early in development. But you can see his HP and his strength. He is clearly a strength-based enemy, armor, dexterity. And
here comes the archer.
All right. Oh, we need to make those arrows a little more visible still. Actually, if we zoom in, it might no. Alright, they are smoking him. This guy just got healed, it looks like.
Yeah. Oh, he's been getting healed.
And he's got a health regen buff too. Must be from the tavern.
There's no chance. Oh, does he? There's no chance this ogre's gonna take anyone down. You can speed it up.
That's almost right.
Alright.
We win!
We did it. We beat our own game. Alright, so that covers what we wanted to show today. Over the following weeks and months, we're going to be releasing more videos and information on our progress. Our next couple of videos are going to be on the player-controlled spell system, and I'm really excited about it. It's just going to make everything about the game feel a lot more fun. So be sure to check out our website. On our landing page, you can subscribe to our email list. We'll send updates when we have new videos available, or you can follow us on YouTube also. So those links will be in the description, and thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks everyone.